Oh, so when Karen sent me this song, the very first thing that struck me was that Karen Mitchell actually somewhere in her life hated herself about something. And I have to say that was the first thing I was like, how is that possible? I was like, how is it possible that this beautiful, dynamic, loving, intelligent, creative, sexy, all the words I can think of, amazing woman could hate herself for anything and because of anything? And then I took it to the next level, which was, how could I ever hate myself for anything? And I went in and I said, what do I hate about me? And the answer was nothing. But I have in the past. But I don't now. I really don't. And I know she doesn't either, because this song comes from a woman that's singing "No More Waiting." And I'm going to live my life like I have never lived it before, because I'm the one responsible for creating the sunlight, or I can fade to black. Because that's what this teaching is all about. And I thought about all of you and all the people that I have ever counseled or worked with or treated for. And the very fact that anybody at all could hate themselves for any reason whatsoever is the reason why this science is so important on this planet right now. Why what we know, why we know who we are, and when we know who we are, how could we hate anything about ourselves? So today's the day you have the opportunity here to really take a look at yourself and ask yourself, what is it in me, maybe, that I don't like? What is it in me that I dare to use the word hate? What are you still holding on to? What are you still angry about? What's going on in your life that's still holding you back? There's another line in the song where she says, forgiving myself, but the way she sings it, the way the melody goes, and the way the music lays out, it made me think that my life is forgiving to myself. My life is about giving to myself, and there's one of the biggest procrastinations I think we have still going on. The very fact that some of us still think we're the ones that shouldn't be given to by ourselves. We should give out there. We should give to everyone else, but we're the last on our list to give to. John Livesey sent me this beautiful TED Talk by this Brazilian entrepreneur, and in it he says this line that I just started laughing. I just was like, oh my God, that is so true, so true. And he said this, he said, we've gotten so good at going home on the weekend and answering our emails and doing our Facebook updates and doing all the work. We've gotten so good at multitasking so that we can do everything at once and get it all done. He said, and what we haven't done is succeeded at being okay with going to the movies in the middle of a Monday afternoon. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh my God, that is me. I feel so guilty sometimes when there are some days that I come into this office at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I know I'm not going home till 11 o'clock at night. And I'll still come in and be here for 12 hours. And still feel like if I dared to go to the movies instead at noon, there'd be something in me going, oh, you're kind of slacking off. No, I'm not. I'm not slacking off. I'm living my life. I am giving to myself. And the other day, I said to Kevin, I was gardening and stuff, he said, what time are you coming into the office? I said, you know what, I think since I'm going to be teaching till 10:30, I'm not coming in till at least 3 o'clock. And he looked at me, and he just looked at me and went, good for you. And I thought to myself, the universe says good for you in the form of my husband, but it doesn't matter. God is speaking no matter who's talking. So, the universe says good for you when you say good for you. Get that? So there's one of the big procrastinations we have to get over. And I expect all of you to go to the movies in the middle of the day this week. Wouldn't that be fun? Yes. So, I haven't done it yet, but what I have done is really taken the time to be in my garden, which I haven't done in a long time. And I have taken so much time for myself since this month began. What are we on, day 8? And really getting clear that there is no such thing as a work schedule unless it's a work schedule that I have inflicted on myself. Because, as Laurie said, it's all choice. And the end of Karen's song, the last line is, I've been waiting this whole time for you, but what I come to the conclusion is that what I've really been waiting for is me. Me. So that takes me to my talk title today, which is called Waiting for God. Oh. How many of you get it? How many of you don't get it? Oh, no one's raising their hand. I'm not going to say I don't get it. Right? So it's waiting for God, or waiting for Godot. So I can't tell you. Oh, no, somebody went, oh. Karen got it right away. I took her the talk title. I wrote it down. I said, here's the talk title. I'm writing it so that you don't say it in front of the class. And I said, did you get it? And she went, I took a theater class, yes. She said, I took one theater class, and that was in it. Waiting for Godot. So really, I do want to talk about the play. How many of you have read the play or seen the play, Waiting for Godot? I use that all the time in my life. I say that to people all the time. I'm like, yeah, it's like waiting for Godot here. Because what it means is we're waiting for something that's never going to come. And Waiting for Godot is these two tramps, these two homeless guys. And they're sitting in front of this really old, worn-out, dying, looks like, tree. And they're just sitting there. And they're waiting for M. Godot, Mr. Godot, G-O-D-O-T, God-ot. So they're waiting for this man to show up. And while they're waiting for this man to show up, they talk about everything under the sun. Their fears, their prejudices, all the things that are wrong with the world, all the things that are wrong with each other, their bodies, everything that's wrong with them. But Mr. G never shows up. Now, along the way, a couple of other characters show up, and one guy shows up holding another guy on a leash. Apparently, they're in West Village. But oh my goodness! So he's walking him on a leash, and the guy on the leash is carrying a very heavy suitcase. And what you realize is that this guy carrying this really heavy suitcase never realizes that he can actually put it down. And somewhere in the play they ask him, just put it down. He goes, no. How many of us are still carrying very heavy suitcases? Don't raise your hands. Yes, it was that kind of question. Yeah. She just said, carry on. We're carrying these suitcases filled with the past, filled with our fears and our anxieties and disappointments and judgments, all the stuff in our life that perhaps we would do better to just put it down and walk away from it. But I think some of us even put it down and then we're like, right? And we just keep our eye on it, and no matter how far away we go, we can move from Philadelphia to Los Angeles, and I can still keep my eye on Philly. I can still keep my eye on my childhood. Things that I can still, people still say to me, well, as a child this happened to me. I'm like, you are 60. It happened 55 years ago. It is impossible that still has play in your life. Oh, it's very possible. Because we keep the bag. Either we're holding it still or we keep it close. In order for us to fill our minds with the truth, we have to give our minds the opportunity to be open. We have to give our minds the opportunity to be spacious enough to hear the truth. And when we hear it, to be able to live it, because I can't live it if I'm holding on to all this crap at the same time. And now let's talk about the leash. Y'all know, no, this is not, the 50 Shades of God. So, or pray. So, this leash, what a great metaphor. What a great metaphor. This idea that someone or something has us on a leash. Karen's song talks about when I let go of the shoreline, I actually find my way back to myself. That leash is what we're attached to. That shoreline she writes about is the thing we're clinging on to because we're afraid to really step into this. We're afraid to step in, not to do it now, to remember who we are. We're afraid to step into that somehow. So where's your leash? What's still holding you? What's still tethering you to some idea, some paradigm, some belief, some religion that still has a grip on you? And I think religion, and I don't want to say anything negative about any specific religion, because you know what? It's across the board. I am an equal opportunity dissenter. I can literally tell you, religious science can be just that kind of religion where, in fact, you are tethered to a shore by using this religion for that. So, what is it that's still holding you, still tying you to the shore? What belief do you maybe want to give some thought to? Change in a little bit. So as I was going through my week, and I'm going through this whole procrastination thing, and I'm going through the whole, do it now month, I was walking in my neighborhood, because I now walk for like a half hour every morning, and I was having this beautiful, beautiful walk. And did you know that Deepak Chopra is on Pandora? Yes, you can, who uses Pandora? So just put in Deepak Chopra, get a little playlist, and all of a sudden you will hear, you are perfect. And so I'm walking the neighborhood, and Deepak Chopra is telling me that I am amazing, and amazing is my natural birthright, and it's just this amazing, you're hearing the birds and Deepak, and you're like, your personal session with Deepak Chopra. So I'm walking through, he finished his little thing, and I took them off. And I just heard the birds, and I just heard some listening, and all of a sudden, something came to me. Procrastination. We think about procrastination because we think about procrastinating the things we do in life. And I was doing that. I was like, if it comes to me, I'm going to do it. Let me do it. Do it now. No procrastination. And then I thought, what about all of the feelings and emotions that I procrastinate on? What about all of the things in my mind that I don't resolve in the moment, know what I need to know, and let it go, but I just move it aside? Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, let me think about something else. Because as soon as that's so annoying, let me think about something else, all it's doing is moving to the back, waiting for you to address it at some point. When do you address it? Oh, maybe by the time you get cancer, right? You and I, we've talked about this. Maybe you address it when you break a leg. Oh, sorry, didn't mean that. Maybe you address it when your knee pops out. Whatever it is, move it along. Whatever it is. Maybe you address it when a relationship ends. Maybe you address it when da. So procrastination is not just about doing things tangible. Procrastination is also about what are you doing with your mind? What are you still allowing in your mind that you haven't addressed yet, that you haven't really dealt with yet? Because we have the power to do that. We have the power to raise the sun or to go to black. We have all the power in the universe to be who we are and to allow ourselves to actually take care of business when the business comes up. So the question, what are we waiting for, also applies to consciousness. What are we waiting for? Why are we waiting to know that I am God? Why am I waiting to know that so profoundly, so perfectly, so purposefully that it goes into every area of my life? Health, finances, creative expression, relationships. It goes everywhere. Why am I waiting? Why do I put it on the back? I am God. In this particular moment, though, something seems off. Well, maybe I just need to go back to I am God. So today's a great day for us all to just give some thought. What's going on in my mind that I'm putting off? Have you ever noticed that when you don't do something, when you put it off, it's still there, sort of subtly? And you're just kind of in this atmosphere. Something came up this week, and I didn't handle it mentally. I put it off because I had so many other things I was doing now. I figured, well, I'm not procrastinating. I'll have to put that away so I can not procrastinate. It's amazing how procrastination grabs you when you're not even looking. So I had this thing, and all of a sudden it was like a day later, and I'm like, why am I in this mood? Why do I have this feeling I have? And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I need to just ask the question, why am I in this feeling? And just wait for the answer. And all of a sudden this thing popped up from the day before, and I went, oh, I should really deal with that. And I started to walk away from it. I was like, I'll deal with that. No, I will deal with that now. And I just got clear on it. And I actually called the person that it was about and brought this forward and said, you know, something you said bothered me, and it kind of made me think this, and then blah, blah, this person, who's not in Science of Mind, it is a family member, this person said to me, and I just loved it. I was like, oh my God, unbelievable. She said, well, why didn't you say that yesterday? And I was like, oof. You know, it's like, but she's so right. She said, Jimmy, because that's my name in Philadelphia. She said, Jimmy, why didn't you just say that bothered you when I said it? I said, I don't know. I said, because for some reason, I just wanted it to be a pleasant conversation. And so, there you go. And she goes, well, it doesn't seem like it was pleasant for you after that moment. I know, really, right? So, God love you. So, I took care of it. And you know what happened? My atmosphere of life rose. It just shifted. And then we had this other great conversation, which was just beautiful. So, your mind is a holder of all of your thoughts, all of your beliefs. Your mind holds your consciousness, right? That's what your mind is here for. That's all it's here for, to hold consciousness. Consciousness is a fluid thing. It is the be-all, end-all of life. It is the beingness of spirit. Consciousness. It's what we have. It's who we are. You know, all of us are looking for this great definition of God. A great answer, Lynn Wask, is consciousness. Right? So, consciousness. Consciousness being so fluid, you have the capacity and the ability at any moment to literally step into consciousness purposefully and on intention, with intention, on purpose, and find out what it's made of. What is my mind made of? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I believing? Where is it coming from? And change it if you don't like it. And how do you change it? You remember who you are. It's that simple. There's the simple way. So, my last little story I have for you is from Reverend Rita. She told me this story. Now, Reverend Rita, Reverend Jonathan, and myself are very conscious of stepping into I am God in a very profound way. All three of our churches are very, very focused on bringing the divinity of man into actuality. Not just talk about it, but to really bring it forward. So Rita said, you know, they didn't really have a youth program, so a lot of the kids are in church with her. And of course, Rita's saying, I am God, you are God, we are God, a lot. So this little boy, and I think his name is Kaylee, he goes to school one day. And the teacher's doing this exercise where he's asking all the children to put something after I am. And they're saying, I am amazing. I am beautiful. I am smart. So it comes to Keith and he goes, I am God. And it stopped the entire thing. And all of a sudden, everybody's going, you're not God. And even the teacher, I think, got into it and said, well, you're not God. He goes, no, I am God. And they start telling him, no, you're not. And finally, he just starts screaming, yes, I am! Yes, I am! He doesn't know he's not God. He's not going to need years of therapy to figure out that he's God. That's what we're here to do. Let's make sure that this next generation actively lives from the already established premise, I am God. And then have the willingness, have the daringness, have the boldness to go, yes, I am. To really understand it so profoundly. Now, you and I have 60 years of What are you laughing at? 60 years. I know every time I say it, I want to hear it and go, you good with this? Good with this. Okay. 60 years. 70 is like really close, too. I keep thinking that. 60 years of not living I am God, but growing into I am God. Growing into the idea that it's time to stop procrastinating on this idea. And I go back and I look, and I've said this many times, I go back and I look at what I learned in the Catholic Church, and the thing I take away from Catholicism is God is all there is. But of course, the logical mind must go to, if God is all there is, that's me. I'm part of all there is. You know, when I go to Buddhism, and the years I spent as a Broadway Buddhist, and there is such a thing, the Broadway Buddhist, which was Michael Bennett and Nick Dante and all the chorus line people, and you know what I learned there, which was that this immense spirit is in center of and has its beingness in all things. Then okay, that's me. So they're all saying the same thing. It's about how do you live what we're saying. And how do we dare to really take the next step? You know, if you look at time and all eternity, there's the little bleep here of 2,000 years, right? It's just a little blip. So what we accomplish in these 2,000 years happens because mankind is a part of all of time and eternity. So I'm sure if we got far enough back, we'd just go, well, that worked well. That worked well. There was that beautiful jump, that hop, skip, and a jump into I am God. So if you look at it that way, wouldn't it be beautiful if we all could leave here today with an open mind, a consciousness that allowed us to literally step into our God selves in such a powerful way that no matter what came up, we would be able to come back with, yes, I am. Oh, this happened. Oh, well, no, I'm God. So I don't know what that is, but here's what I know about it. Because that's what treatment is. I don't know what this is or how it got here. I could go back and figure it out. But you know, Emma Curtis Hopkins didn't want to hear from you on how you got there. She was like, I don't care about your story. Here's what I know. Here's the truth. So what if we really went there? So today, as we entertain the idea of waiting for Godot, I think it's time for us to stop waiting for Godot. Because you know what happens at the end of waiting for Godot? One of the characters says to the other, let's go. And the other character says, yeah, let's go. They sit there, and the curtain comes in. I think we are caught in a cycle of saying, let's go, and still sitting in our past, in our belief system that's not working sometimes, and we don't just get up and walk into a new play. Hopefully a Neil Simon piece that has some humor. Because you have the opportunity to walk into something beautiful and light and funny, or you can just step over to Beckett's other piece, No Exit. And I would suggest you stay away from No Exit and move into a life where you not only know who you are, but you actually live who you are. Namaste. Thank you.